Good morning, everybody. Appreciate you being here. Obviously coming off of Saturday, it was going back and watching the film. A lot of things that I said after the game, were held true. I mean, really pleased with the effort that I saw, the fight from the guys. I thought they battled throughout. Disappointing, outcome there in the fourth quarter. We went into the fourth quarter, had 3 penalties for 15 yards and ended up with 6 for 70. I've got my feelings about those, in some of those instances, but still some things that, where we just have to make sure that we're staying focused on the things that we can control and making sure that we're going out and playing, disciplined football. We had the fourth quarter turnover was a critical play. We actually had a really good run seam on that, right after we forced a turnover. But I thought our defense did a really nice job of responding, and they got put in some challenging situations throughout the game, but continued to battle. The game deciding drive. They were. We had the 2 penalties, 30 yards, and then the run where we had a couple missed tackles on that. Credit to the back, did a good job of running hard. Something that we can definitely clean up, and that's overall defensively. I thought we did a nice job throughout. The big plays that they had. We had guys in position. We just got to continue to rely on the fundamentals of what we're doing. They had one drive where they did a nice job, schematically, changing up their reads. Where we will, I thought our adjustment was well made, there in the second half, and our guys were able to eliminate some of those run seams that they had on the one extensive drive that they had. Offensively, we knew we were playing a good defense. I mean, we had, I thought, they did a good job of taking away some of the things in the run game. I mean, they're a good defensive front, experienced linebackers, and how they played. What I thought, Jordan did a nice job on the base down passing game. Being able to go through the reads and progressions. I thought we were efficient, with that. The third down, some of the third down situations that we got into where it was longer yardage situations. It was a little more challenging. Some instances where the pass rush got on us pretty quick. Some other we had one missed opportunity on a third and medium. Detailing a route. I mean that we weren't able to convert on, and those things. When you're playing in a tight game, those margins are so small, and we need every one of those those situations to put ourselves in for all of those situations for us to be able to work to the positive, and we just. Any one of them, I think, changes the outcome of what that game was, and it's a thing about going on the road, all the factors that go into that. But I thought our guys battled, and we got to continue to grow. We got to continue to get better. I thought the mindset and the attitude yesterday, it was our guys absolutely care, and it was we're all hurting. We're all upset about the outcome, but the thing that we can control is what's in front of us. And like I told the guys, one of my first, I guess, is my first couple months being here. We were going through our tour of duty, and Coach Andrews actually came out, and as we're going through the drills, he came up to me, and it was a drill where we're emphasizing a guy's getting up after whether it was a seat roll or a belly flop. And Coach Andrews told me, he goes Mike, it's not a sin to get knocked down. Your butt just better be getting up before you hit the ground. And I think that is an unbelievable wisdom of just how you should approach things. Our team is it was a challenging first month, but we got up. We responded. We pushed forward. Had about 4 weeks where there was some positive momentum, a lot of things that we're growing and building upon. Obviously Sunday or Saturday, we got knocked down again, and the only sin is if you stay down on that ground. But we're going to jump up and we're going to move forward. We're going to attack every day with all that we can to improve, to get better, to be the team that we're capable of being. And that's the mindset. That's the approach. And I thought our guys did a nice job of that last night. We went in, we watched the film. You see the mistakes, you see the areas of improvement, you see the positives. You got to also build upon the positive things that we've shown and what we are capable of doing. But this team is going to continue to fight. They're going to continue to get better. They're going to continue to respond. This Saturday, it's great being back at home, and we need to have a great atmosphere. You've got a really talented team that's coming in NC State. But they've played well throughout this year. Very experienced football team. One that's capable of performing at a very, very high level. And I think they've shown that throughout this year. But for us, it's still truly just it's about what we do. And it's going to be an exciting time for our team to be able to get back out there and to go compete, to be able to do it in front of our home fans, to be able to do it here at Doak Campbell. I mean, you never take one of those days for granted, and we're looking forward to that. And so we're excited about the week ahead. Got to have a great week of prep, but our guys got the right mindset, and now we got to go do it.
All right, first question will be Chris over here to your left.
With regards to the officiating, do you guys clip those, send them into the office, ask for further clarification, or do you just kind of leave it be and work with them?
I always like, if there's something that just more insight on, always send that in. And the league does a good job of how they respond in those situations. And at the end of the day, it's being an official. There's some challenging moments, some judgment calls that are made, and we're all working through that. It's one of the things for us to get the best perspective, on what, how things are going to be viewed, and just try to do the best job of putting our guys and educating our guys in all those situations.
We'll say over here to the left for Jerry.
Those two penalties, when they occurred, were really momentum swings. And you guys had the momentum at 2017, and then you get the 3 penalties, really. After the third one, the Lundy penalty, the crowd had swung. Is there ever a thought as a head coach to call timeout on a defensive possession? And I ask you that question because I've seen it so many times where you're trying to save timeouts with 2:50 on the clock.
Yeah, it's one of those judgment calls that you have to make, and momentum swings are real. But when you look at a game that's tight like that, it just are you going to be able to have the next possession? And that's where there was a couple. There was a situation earlier there was actually 2 times in the second half where a call was made and I wanted to challenge it. And one of them was Jordan's, where he threw the ball away, and it was 1st and 10, and it was ruled that he stepped out of bounds when he threw the ball away, and that was something that in the moment, but being in the second half, and everything's happening, being on the far sideline, not getting a review, it was something that I hesitated on because I didn't want to lose the timeout. There was another play that was a little bit later on that was discussed, and so even with the same thought of momentum swings, just those second half timeouts are so valuable. And we found ourselves in the situation to where like even on our, I guess technically second to last drive, we had a negative play. We got into a 4th and extremely long, but because we had the 2 timeouts, elected to punt, still got another possession. And yes, we only had 30 seconds left, no timeouts when we got it back, but we were able to give ourselves an opportunity. And those are things that you just got to look at. You got to balance, and those are judgment calls. But yeah, those thoughts do go through your mind. It's just it's tough to take one of those off the board. But hindsight, you don't know how that reaction would be. But that's where just our response, play in and play out, the growth within our team. Having the confidence that even though all momentum might feel like it's against you, control the things that you can control. And with our guys, that's something that we're continuing to grow in, and we'll be better.
All right, next will be Gene over on your right.
Coach, again, sticking with the penalties, a little different on this, but you mentioned the increase that you guys had in this game compared to the last few, and obviously a couple of those are judgments, but the ones that weren't were those pre-snap issues you had. how much, can you simulate that stuff? I mean, this is the first time really since you've been a coach or you've been in an environment like that, these guys' first time for them. Is that something you can simulate, or they just have to do this through experience and experience a game like that with incredible noise?
You know, I think they're twofold. I mean, because really the guys that, when you look back at it, we're young up front. We got 3 freshmen that are playing, redshirt, guys that still play. But you look at those penalties that occurred. A lot of them guys with that experience, and as you guys have been at practice, we make it pretty tough to communicate. I mean, even in walkthroughs and all things that we're doing, we're trying to simulate that sudden movement. But being in the moment, the emotion, the anxiety before each snap. I mean, it's a little bit different when guys are showing pressure that they might be coming, and all those things. And we try to simulate that as best as possible. But and we some guys that were very limited in practice this last week, and that's where that shows up. I think as much as anything, and just the the communication piece of it, and just the confidence to be able to hold in there and trust your eyes, trust the repetitions of making sure that we're all getting off on the snap at the same time. But it's we'll continue to work that. We'll continue to try to create those situations as best as possible. But the pre-snap penalties they were tough for us to overcome, because they put us in those longer yardage situations, and and that ended up being one of the differences.
All right.
You talked about their scheme, what they did schematically. It seemed like a lot of their longer runs, maybe linebackers got out of position or went the wrong way. Is that something Clemson was doing to fool them, or what needs to happen for those guys?
No, there was two different calls that showed up. We had on one of them, it was a mistake. We had one mistake that just happened, and it's you don't want that to occur. Even in that situation, we still had an opportunity to get the ball down. Just missed a couple of point of attack tackles there with our front, but then on the other one, it's a role. It's also a role within the secondary of how we can fit. And like I said, they had that one drive where they had a couple of the big runs on the bend back on the zone. I mean, it was a good scheme. Had to make a couple of adjustments to it, and I thought our guys did a nice job. Being able to do that throughout the course of the second half of the game. But there was one of the big runs that we just had a mistake, and you don't ever want to see that happen. But that's where even when a mistake happens, if we are able to finish the play, we don't give up the explosive run that happened. So those things we got to learn from, and like we talked about earlier in the season, all the right intentions for what we're trying to. We just got to make sure we stay focused on executing the call at hand, and it's not. Nobody wants to make that mistake, but it did show up.
I'll come back over here to Jerry.
Offensively, I suspect you imagined they would fill the box, load the box in this game. And when they did you have checks out of it or check plays that Jordan could go to?
Yeah, in each game, we are. We have checks and have opportunities to be able to get in the best looks, and some of the things that we were seeing were not necessarily just even a loaded box. I mean, there were some things that they were able to do that I thought our guys just have to continue to build in the confidence of what they see. And there might be a time that we were hanging a little bit longer than what we needed to, when we had good angles, had good opportunities. I mean, you go back and you watch the film, and I mean there were some chances that we had, and it's just that once again all the different things that factor into it. I mean, when you're playing a good defensive front, that makes things a little bit more challenging, as well. But and that's one of the reasons why you look at the early down drop back game. I mean, we were able to the touchdown to Lawrence was a P&10 first down call. I thought Jordan was able to execute on some of the first down. His efficiency in the passing game was good, and it was because of some of the things that we were seeing. But yeah, we're always going to carry different packages to try to get the the best numbers, for what we're trying to do, and then we just got to continue to be as efficient as possible. Whenever we do, we're running against the balanced numbers, or even if you're outnumbered, we're going to have something where Jordan or the quarterback has that opportunity to make it right, and whether it's as a runner, whether it's in the passing game, those things are always things that we're going to carry.
Go back to the right for Gene.
Coach, the last couple games, it seems like you guys are missing out the hidden yards on special teams, and specifically this one, not fielding a lot of punts, put you guys back in a hole quite a bit. And I know you've tried different personnel back there. What's happening there? Why is this continuing to be an issue?
It's something that, we're continuing to work at. We need that to, the hitting yardage is something that we emphasize a ton. And, catching punts, making sure that you don't allow the ball to roll out, is one of those key priorities. And, there's a little bit of wind that was blowing the other day. Their punter was spraying it around, and, the number one thing is possession of the ball. And, that's one of those judgment calls, with the returners where you have to be aggressive to go field it. And that's what we're emphasizing in practice. That's what we're asking of during the game. But also the number one thing is the possession of the ball. And so if it's not right, it was a factor in our field position. We got to get better at that, and it's something that we're going to continue to push. And then also have an opportunity to be able, when we do get the chance to be explosive in those return units. And I think that we've got the personnel to be able to do that. But we just got to be more consistent in being able to fill those punts and make sure that we're capitalizing when we get those opportunities.
Ira?
I was gonna ask two, because the first one's really quick. Did Trayshawn get tripped on the fumble? Did he hit somebody's leg? Did you see? Or?
No, it was things that he saw the cut, and I think he just lost balance a little bit, and that's he's done a great job for us throughout this year. He's going to continue to do a great job for us. It's just one of those plays that, man, you wish you had that one back.
And then I was going to ask, physically, it was obviously a real physical game, both sides of the ball. How did you guys come out of it?
I mean, there was the normal post game, tough physical matchup, bumps and bruises. We'll have some guys that we're going to be evaluating through this week that we'll get a better sense of the availability as it goes on. But I mean, you get to week 8 games in the season, that's going to show up. And so, but our guys, I mean, they've trained well. I mean, I think our bodies, are in good shape overall. I mean, we got to continue to push through that, maximize the time we get, in our rehab, and our athletic training department's done a phenomenal job throughout this year to help get guys and get them back on the field to be able to play at the highest level that they can. I know I talked afterwards, just, Dylan Gibbons, the work that he put in last week was very limited, throughout the week, but to be able to go out there and compete and play, and you did some good things, did some things that, it shows up when you don't have as many practice reps, but, it's just the constant push and toughness that these guys are putting on display. I'm really proud of. And, we've been into the depth. I mean, you look at all those guys up front on the offensive line. I mean, the work that they've had to do. I mean, I don't think any of their bodies are feeling really good right now, but it's just, it means something to them. And you can go across the board with that, positionally, and they're going to continue to fight. They're going to continue to do the things necessary. But we'll get a better sense of where those injuries are as the week progresses.
Gene?
Coach, you've got, once again, with NC State, another really good defense back-to-back. I think they held Louisville at 13 points. It's a really good offensive team. When you're playing back-to-back, really good defensive team, is that an advantage for you guys, at least because your guys kind of know what to expect in terms of the athleticism and all that? Or would you rather, obviously you'd rather have an easier team, but I mean, does that help the defense?
No, I mean, it's NC State does a remarkable job. I think Coach Gibson I've known for a long time. We actually worked together on a staff, years back, and great defensive mind, great motivator. I mean, these guys they play inspired, very unique scheme in what they do. But they've one of the top run defenses in our conference. I think, number 2 or, scoring defense, just behind the opponent we just played. So, this is a talented team. Obviously we gotta focus on what we do well, and then try to put our guys in the best positions to showcase that. But these guys, they tackle well, and I think when you look at those space plays that defenses are there to try to constrict space, and the last 2 opponents that we played, obviously last week and this week, they do a great job of closing closing that space, and a really good job in their open field tackling whenever you do get those opportunities. So we got to work cut out for us, but I know our guys are excited to be able to bounce back from what we felt was disappointing moments there on Saturday, and playing to the level that I think we're capable of playing. And so we gotta bounce back and embrace the challenge, and that's what it's all about. And it's one of the great things about this league, is that every week you're going to play. There's going to be the challenges that are going to present themselves, and so you see that in our game on Saturday, but throughout the course of the league last week. It's you better bring it, and our guys are excited for the opportunity to respond, and looking forward to the preparation in that here this week.
All right, we'll go to the back for Dom.
Coach, I know Clemson of this year is a lot different than the Clemson of 2020, but just, had that game happen last season, because you talk so much just about the growth of this team. Do you think you would have, seen the same amount of fight that you saw Saturday with this team last year? And just speaking on this year, is that a testament to come down, take a lead in that 4th quarter, just to the positive signs of the growth that you want to see from your team?
I don't think anything from last year had any impact on this year. It's our team. This is our opportunity. At the end of the day, that's all we can control is what's in front of us. And if you can't get fired up to go play this game, and to be able to do with the work that our players put in in practice and their preparation and all that. They're going to play, and that's we were where we wanted to be. We felt that if we could get to that, get in that 4th quarter, put ourselves in a position to be ahead, and to have that opportunity. I felt very confident in how it was going to turn out, and unfortunately, we weren't able to finish. And there's a lot of factors that go into that, and everybody takes ownership in it, and we're going to continue to work as coaches, as players, as everybody involved, to be able to finish the games in that position. And we've shown that we're capable. We weren't able to get it done there on Saturday.
All right, next will be Aslan in the back right corner.
Jordan's athletic gifts seem to overwhelm most of the teams that you guys play in this conference. Clemson knows that sort of that gold standard, and they seem to be able to kind of neutralize him. So is it a matter of him growing, or how do you guys sort of assess Jordan and his ability is sort of ceiling after playing a team like Clemson?
They're really good they have really good personnel. They've recruited really well, and that's going to show up, when you take athleticism, top level athlete going versus a top level athlete. There's things that, I think everybody can continue to do to grow and develop, but, makes it more challenging.
All right, next will be Ira.
Early in the season, when you guys had the close loss to Notre Dame, and then kind of had a hard time getting past that, were there things you saw in either meetings or practices that had you concerned, and do you have to look out for those things after another close loss?
Yeah, yes. That, we talked about it throughout this year. It's the, that was it. That was a situation. We played on a Sunday night, came back, you had a short week, had to ramp back up, emotional game, very similar, a lot of similarities. But, even throughout the course of that week, the intensity, all of those little things that I look for in how we prepare, and I pointed it out, challenged it, and obviously it showed up, in how we played the next Saturday. And so we've had opportunities from that point to be able to grow from it. I think we have. And a prime example was going on the road and beating North Carolina, and that was a game that not many people had thought that we could go and do, and we did it in a great fashion. Had the bye week, came back, against, UMass, and I thought our guys, that was a step in a positive direction. Was it perfect? No, but, it was, you see the growth, and that's what we need to continue to have that, whether it's a success or a failure. How you respond to that, and the intensity in the reps, the intensity in the preparation. That's one of my biggest messages to our team. Yesterday is, we're going to be remembered based off what we do today. Lord willing, I get to wake up tomorrow and you'll continue on with what I do. But if not, what are they going to say? What are they going to say about me for what I did today? That is the sense of urgency that we all must live by. That's the sense of urgency as a football player. This thing goes quick. And, we got guys that are going to be able to play on this team. They'll be able to play at the next level for many years. I believe that. But man, it goes fast. And, when if you don't take advantage of every one of those days, and you're never going to maximize the potential that you have or what you can accomplish. And so it's just keeping that and never losing sight of it, because there's so many distractions out there. Human nature wants you to relax. It wants to take it easy, to be comfortable. And we got to continue to push. And that's the challenge of what we face day in and day out. And I appreciated our team, from how they came and went into the weight room yesterday, and the way that they worked, to what we did in the meeting rooms, to how we went out and attacked the practice field. I thought last night, even after the game, we talked about that developmental practice, that we'll do, for a little bit of some of the younger guys, and getting that extra work. And we have there were guys that played, some meaningful snaps there on Saturday, but it was the best energy and competition that we've had throughout this year. That's, for me, and it's steps, and that's what, that's where that culture is continuing to be built and developed. Because when these guys get an opportunity to compete, yes, we're going. We're like I said, jump your butt up and go attack, and that's the focus of our team, and that's what we're gonna do.
Come over here to the left for Bob for the last one.
Hey, Coach, I know you and Coach Flohr emphasized takeaways in the last 2 weeks. I think it's been 5, 2 defensive touchdowns. How is that just preparation meets opportunity? Is there something specific you guys are emphasizing? What would you maybe attribute that to?
Yeah, it's something that we emphasize throughout the year. It's just a continued repetition of it, and then seizing those opportunities when they show up. And it was big. I mean, you look at the different players in the game. You get Duke Cooper, his first first pick there in the game. Jamie Robinson. I love the effort played, just to be able to force the fumble. There late, and then obviously Jermaine and the play that he had was exceptional. But those things are you put in the preparation throughout the week, and sometimes you get the opportunity, sometimes you don't. But you've got to be prepared for the moment, and that's something that our defense, we need. And was something that we're lacking there early in the season, and as they're continuing to build in their confidence, those explosive plays are showing up, and that's something that absolutely has to continue here Saturday and throughout the last third of the season for us to play the level that I know we're capable of. But that's a lot. There's a lot of positive momentum that's heading from just the application of the work and what's being emphasized there to game day, and so really proud of those guys for that.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.